It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another Q&A Dead Talk. It's been a while, but we're back with another Q&A session. Let me know, as always, if you can see me and hear me. I see there's 2 people watching and 2 comments or questions from Epic Zombie Killer already. Awesome stuff to see people already on, even though I didn't announce this or anything. It was just a spontaneous live. I'll get to your questions in a bit. Let me know if you can hear me good and see me good. Hopefully everything is good, but we'll just wait a few minutes for more people to join and also for me to get some indication that everything is good as far as the audio and video. I think we'll just start in a few seconds here. I just want to make sure that we're all set. I think we're good. Alright, let's start with answering Epic Zombie Killer. And hopefully you guys can hear me and see me. Everything looks good on my end, but let me know if you can't hear me or anything. Epic Zombie Killer Q&A. Hey Ash, do you see them ever revisiting the feared characters, like doing a show with Madison and Alicia, maybe in LA? Interesting that you say that, because I have a video on this topic. I'll give you a short answer, and then for my longer answer, you can wait for the video that's going to drop sometime this week, hopefully this week. So short answer is, I think that they might come back, but it won't be in the near future. I think it'll be a couple years from now. And I don't think that they're going to get their own show. I think if anything, they're just going to pop up in another Walking Dead spin-off that's already existing or will exist in the next 2 years. But short answer, I don't think that they will get their own spin-offs like Maggie and Negan in Dead City, or Daryl and Carol in the Daryl Dixon spin-off, or Michonne and Rick in The Ones Who Live. I don't think we'll see anything like that. There's some more reasons why I don't think that, which I talked a lot about in my video, so you'll just wait like a couple days and then that'll drop. It's like a full-length video of it, which you can check out. Hopefully that was a good enough answer for you here. Epic Zombie Killer. Q&A. Hey Ash, do you think Rick will reunite with Judith and RJ near the end of The Ones Who Live? I do think that he'll reunite with RJ and Judith for sure, but I don't think it'll be at the end of The Ones Who Live. At the end of the first season at least. If anything, it'll be either season 2 if it has a season 2, or it'll be down the line in another project like a Walking Dead universe movie or TV show or something. I don't think it'll be at the end of the first season of The Ones Who Live, because there's already a lot to cover in the first season, and I don't think there's enough time to get through all of it and have him return and reunite with everyone. The next question, also from Epic Zombie Killer. Hey Ash, do you think they'll do a complete box set for Fear the Walking Dead? They might. They probably will, actually, but the question is who's going to get it. If the only reason why you would get it is if you're a collector. If you're not, Fear itself doesn't have enough of a pull to get people to just buy the box set. You know what I mean? Like, I got the complete Walking Dead collection, but it's because Walking Dead is good, right? But Fear, it's a different story, because like, if we're being generous, only like maybe 15-20% of Fear is good enough. You know what I mean? The rest of it is just not what it needs to be. not to a point where you're invested enough where you collect it. Unless, like I said, you are a collector or have collected all of them, the previous seasons and stuff like that. And that's it for the questions. Hopefully more people will ask. Again, let me know if everything is good with the audio and video. I'm assuming everything is good since no one said anything, and we've been live for I think a couple minutes now, so if there was any issues, I'm sure you guys would have let me know already. Another question from Epic Zombie Killer. Did you get the Walking Dead Destiny's game? If so, what's your honest opinion on it? I was planning on getting it, but because of the extremely bad reviews and just terrible kind of game that it ended up being, I did not get it and I didn't play it. I watched some gameplay and I wasn't impressed, but obviously I haven't played, so I can't really give my opinion. But the negative reviews say everything you need to know, I would say. I don't think I've heard any good reviews. All have been pretty terrible. The only kind of fun thing that came out of it is some possible what if scenarios actually happening, but then they could have done that in other ways, or a better game at least. Jose Hernandez, do you think Dwight and Sherry will show up in Dead City Season 2? I mean, do I want them to show up? Not yet. Not in Season 2 at least. We don't need them in Season 2. Should they show up at some point in either Dead City or somewhere else? Somewhere hopefully where Negan is there? Yes, absolutely. I mean, their story doesn't fully end in my opinion unless they come back, see Negan, and kind of do their thing. That's all I'm gonna say. But at this point, I don't think in Season 2 we need them, but potentially later on. It would be a good addition to bring them back. Epic Zombie Killer. Hey Ash, I'm not gonna lie, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon surprised with how good it was. Here's the thing, and this is an unpopular opinion, but the whole how Daryl ended up in France thing was a stretch to me, and it made me not really get invested because I didn't like how it started. I didn't like the premise, you know. And again, unpopular opinion, I like Dead City a lot better than Daryl Dixon. Dead City had its problems as well, but I think that it was better plot-wise than Daryl Dixon. Visually, Daryl Dixon was better because obviously we saw better environments, better apocalyptic kind of settings, and it showed that they actually used some budget. In Dead City, it was like a green screen for the most part, or that's what it looked like. So in that sense, Daryl Dixon was better. But plot-wise, I like Dead City a little bit better. Not by much, but by a little bit. But yeah, did it surprise me, like how good it was, that Daryl Dixon? A little bit, because I was expecting it to be like Dead City, but it was a little... And what I mean by that is that I was expecting it to have the feeling as Dead City, in terms of have everything be kind of green screen-esque, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like that. But it didn't surprise me as far as the plot. The only thing that surprised me was that they actually used their budget in the show. You know what I mean? And it surprised me how artistic they were making it. But other than that, the plot didn't really surprise me. If anything, it surprised me that it surprised me how similar it was to a lot of other stuff that we've already seen before in The Walking Dead and other post-apocalyptic shows and movies. Just gonna zoom into this here quick so I can see it better, and then move back a bit because I feel like I'm way too close to the camera. Jose Hernandez, do you think Negan will have a new weapon since he's going to be a leader again? Well, yeah, obviously he's going to be a leader again in the second season of Dead City. I don't think he's gonna have a new weapon. I don't think he needs a new weapon, honestly. I think the whole signature weapon thing is not really interesting if it's for existing characters. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a brand new character, yes, it would be good to give them a signature weapon. But for characters that exist, I don't think it's smooth enough to just give them a signature weapon and say this is their new signature weapon. You know what I mean? Think I disconnected? No, I'm good. Excellent connection. Okay. I see I'm buffering a bit. That's why I stopped, but it looks like it's okay. But yeah, I think it's forced if you just give someone that already had a signature weapon a new signature weapon. Unless they introduce it right and they make it work. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to do. It's difficult to do. Especially with Negan, who had a pretty significant signature weapon already. That was my long answer. Epic Zombie Killer. If Dwight were to reunite with Negan, how would him and Sherry react to the man that Negan has become? I don't think it would matter to them how different Negan is. I don't think they'll be able to forgive Negan. If they see him, they would probably want to kill him. I don't think they would give him the benefit of the doubt like others have. If they had witnessed the things he's done, it would have been different. But if they just see it after, not see it, but hear about it after, then it's not quite the same. This is exactly why I don't think Rick would be able to forgive Negan or have the same reaction to Negan as everyone else. It's because he wasn't there to witness the change in Negan. You know what I mean? And one other thing I would mention is, like, when we talk about how would or talk about them reuniting with Negan, it's not really a reunion, because in my eyes a reunion is between two people who want to see each other again. What I see with Negan and Dwight is more of a rivalry, more of a I hate you type of thing. So I don't necessarily categorize it as or word it as a reunion. I would call it like, will they ever clash again? Something like that. And in many ways, I think it would sell if they had a spin-off with that instead of the Negan and Maggie spin-off with Dead City that we saw. It would have, imagine how awesome this spin-off would have been if it was advertised and if it was about Negan just being out there, being confronted by Dwight, who saw him in some way, and then that would be what the story is about. And it's really a story where Negan redeems himself in front of Dwight or something like that. But obviously they didn't go that direction, and now they can't really do that because it's already done. not already done, but it's like in that city, he's in that city, he can't have another spin-off. And if they do it in that city, like I said earlier, it shouldn't be now. The Dead City story needs to complete, and then it needs to spill over to another story with Dwight, if it happens. Jose Hernandez. Coleman Domingo said if he would come back as Strand, he would want better writers. I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. I don't know if he said that or not. It doesn't sound like something he would just flat out say, honestly. But I'll take your word for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was thinking that at least. Maybe he worded it differently and you just kind of read between the lines. Maybe that's how it went. there was a bit of technical issue. Let me know if you can hear me now. The audio went out and then the camera died. Let me know if we're back. I don't know how much of my previous answer you got, but I'll just wait a few minutes to make sure everything is good and we're back on before I continue. Just give me a shout out in the comments if you can hear me again and if you can see me again. So let me know if you can hear me and see me good now, because we had a bit of technical issues with the audio and video. Okay, I think we're back. Alright, so you didn't hear my answer. Let me go back to that question again. Hopefully the audio doesn't die again. Oh, the Dead City. So, like I was saying, I had a few issues with Dead City. One was definitely what you said with Maggie and how they used her. The second was the way that they showcased New York and Manhattan. Like they marketed it and advertised it as we're gonna see New York, a post-apocalyptic New York in Dead City, but we didn't really see it. We saw like a green screen-esque type of background New York. You know what I mean? So that was another issue. The other issue that I had with it was how they brought back an Xavier. I think the way they did it was a bit of a stretch. It was good, like a good story, but the way they have done it wasn't good. It was borderline, too much. You know what I mean? Like, it was too coincidental, you know what I mean? And they executed poorly. So those are the issues that I had with Dead City. But the way they used Maggie is definitely also one of them. Josh A. Hey, bro. Hey, how are you doing, Josh? Literally just saw your reaction to Pimento. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Better Call Saul. I know which episode you mean, though. And I loved it. I'm glad you liked it. And you said you sound good or sound great and look good. Awesome. Glad that everything is back again with the audio and video. I don't think I missed any questions. Jose Hernandez saw that Ross Marquand on Instagram said he had cancer. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's sad. It sucks. Hopefully he'll have a full recovery and he'll continue doing what he does. But yeah, I saw that. I definitely saw that on Instagram or Twitter somewhere. Probably Instagram. Epic Zombie Killer. I wonder how big of a role the Croat will have in season 2. I don't think the Croat will have a bigger role. Maybe the same amount of role. I think that the female antagonist, I forgot her name, but she'll have a bigger role in the second season for sure. But I don't think that the Croat's role will change in the second season as far as the amount of screen time he gets and stuff like that. Josh A. I'm obsessed with Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I feel like these shows are so well written and they reach a Shakespearean level of tragedy, and I don't think any other shows created will top these. I agree. I would say Breaking Bad more so than Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul was good, but it was just slow. It was a slow burn, but it was too much of a slow burn. The last season picked up quite significantly, and I really enjoyed it. But I would say I agree with your comment, but Breaking Bad more so than Better Call Saul for me. Epic Zombie Killer. What's your reaction to Last of Us 2 getting that remaster? I did a video on that. I don't understand it. I don't know why it's needed. Like, I don't understand the point. It's probably because I'm not a gamer, but I don't get the point. Last of Us 2 was already, it came out in 2020, right? It's like not even 3 years old, 4 years old now. And it's already on it was already on PS4. Great, you know, graphics and all. Why would you remaster it? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, it would have made more sense if they did like a DLC type thing, because I do know that it has some additional content, but a full remastered version, I don't understand it. I mean, obviously it's on PS5. If you haven't played The Last of Us Part 2, then it makes sense. But for people who have played Part 2 already, I don't understand why you would buy that. Josh A. Better Call Saul's conflict between brothers is almost biblical, and to me, it's as devastating as Hank's death in Breaking Bad. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that angle as well, but I think Breaking Bad was just on a different world. Like, it was done in such a perfect way that Better Call Saul just wasn't able to you know, do that. You know what I mean? It was great. Not saying it was bad, but comparing Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, it's just Breaking Bad was just on a different level. You know what I mean? Epic Zombie Killer, I am looking forward to all the content you make in terms of Season 2 of Last of Us TV show. Yeah, we're absolutely going to do content on Season 2 of Last of Us. Probably the teaser trailer breakdowns and all of that. Some theory discussions. Obviously the reactions. Probably not a lot on behind the scenes stuff like I did for the first season, because obviously they're not filming anywhere where I can just go and record, because they're not here. They're in out in Vancouver, in British Columbia. I can't go there easily, you know what I mean? So because of that type of content, behind the scenes content, I won't be able to do as much. I'll try to do a little bit, and by a little bit I mean I'll see what I can find online behind the scenes stuff for that, but I wouldn't be able to just give you exclusive content every couple of days like I used to for the first season. But yeah, well, we're definitely doing content on The Last of Us Part 2, I mean Season 2. Epic Zombie Killer, I obviously had my issues with Season 1 of Last of Us. Yeah, Last of Us was Season 1, I mean. A disappointment. Definitely a disappointment. And it was such that you can't even categorize it as a horror TV show. It was a drama. Let's be honest. It was a drama, and for a drama, it was excellent. But for a horror TV show, it wasn't. And it's not just that, it's that looking at Part 1, which was what it was adapted from, like The Last of Us Part 1 video game, it was a huge disappointment. A huge disappointment. I can't even put in words how much of a disappointment it was compared to the game. we'll go for like maybe another 15 minutes and then we'll call it a stream. I'm surprised there's even any of you on the live right now because it was a unannounced kind of spontaneous live, but I'm glad you guys are here. It was fun. We'll go for another 15 minutes and that'll be the end of the stream, unless we get more people and the questions ramp up. But as it stands, we'll go for another 15 minutes probably. Epic Zombie Killer, like I don't understand why they had such an issue with infected in season 1. Yeah, I mean, there was barely any infected, there was barely any bloaters, clickers, and it just felt like just the minimal they could give us from the game. They gave us the minimal of what they could give us from the game. And let's not forget that they skipped over some fantastic parts of the game. Billstown, they skipped over the way that it was done was not the same as the game. I'm not saying it was bad, but you need to find a balance between giving us that, what they gave us, and stuff from the game itself. You know what I mean? So that was a huge disappointment. The only thing I absolutely loved in the HBO adaptation was the origin of the fungus that they gave us. They didn't do that in the game. They gave us a backstory, an origin story, and they did it really well. Like really, really well. I absolutely enjoyed it. I think that was one of the best parts of the HBO adaptation. It was the origin story of the fungus. They did a great job giving us that. But other than that, they gave us the minimal of what the game was all about. Epic Zombie Killer, Kieran, how many seasons do you think that city will get? I think 3 or 4 seasons max. 3 or 4 seasons max, I think. Unless they're able to shift the story in such a way where it's a bigger story than what it is right now. At this point, I think 3 to 4 seasons. Probably more than the Daryl Dixon spinoff, though. I think Daryl Dixon's gonna get 3 seasons max. But yeah. One thing I want to say quickly for those that are on the live now or watching after the fact, if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe to join our community. I think most of you who are watching or are on the live now are probably subscribed, but if not, definitely subscribe to join our community and press that bell to be notified when we put uploads on the channel. And of course, if you enjoy the content, smash the like button. Not just on this live stream, but any video that you see on the channel. If you like it, smash that like button. Epic Zombie Killer. Do you think at some point during Daryl's show he'll go back to the US? He has to. I mean, it doesn't make sense any other way. If he wants to come back to the story of other spin-offs in some way, or join back to the main story of the main show, then he needs to come back at some point. Epic Zombie Killer, I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't like the name for season 2, The Book of Carol. Very dumb name. Yeah, I agree. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon was already a dumb name to begin with. Very not convenient, but lazy title. To add Book of Carol at the end, it just adds to the laziness, in my opinion. What are they gonna do in third season? Book of Rick? If Rick joins? It's just kind of dumb, you know? No, it would be The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon and Carol Book of Rick. Are they gonna follow that trend and that pattern for future seasons? You get what I mean about like lazy and just weird? Like it gets to that level of weirdness if they continue. And it's also getting annoying that people just end up in France. You know what I mean? Like with Daryl, it was like, okay, it's kind of a stretch, but we'll believe it. With Carol now, it's like, now we're getting into some convenient BS territory. You know what I mean? I do like that they explained it, at least at the end of the first season, that he's on the track, or on Daryl's tail, like he's on the trail, or she's on the trail and trying to get there, and you know, they set it up, but at the same time it's still convenient and not really realistic. You know what I mean? Epic Zombie Killer. Did you ever expect Carol to last this long? Absolutely not. I mean, here's the thing. Not until the Terminus stuff. After the Terminus stuff, I'm like, yeah, she's gonna stay. She is one of the main characters now. But before, I didn't. But after that, I absolutely did. And that was like season 5, episode 1, right? If I remember right. Zach Dixon, Masked Ninja, says hello. Hello, how are you? Glad you could join the stream. We're gonna go for like another maybe 10 minutes here, but so it's almost at the end of the stream, I should say, but you know, almost done. But glad you could join regardless. And again, I'm surprised people joined already like they have, because it was a spontaneous live stream. I didn't announce it or anything like that. Looks like the questions are dying down a bit, which is good because we're almost at the end of the stream. But if you do have any burning questions, make sure to put it down and we'll get through it in the last few minutes that we have. Epic Zombie Killer, it is kind of a shame that Fear the Walking Dead turned out the way it did, because I liked season 1 to 3. Season 1 to 3 was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. It was good enough. But yeah, I agree. I agree that it's a shame that the show went the direction that it did, because it had a lot of potential, but they just murdered the show in season 4 forward. Zach Dixon made Masked Ninja. Do you think Rick is important to the CRM because of the connection with Dr. Jenner? It may mean nothing. I don't think that he's important to the CRM because of that at the start. He might, or that might play into it later, but I don't think that they know Rick knows Jenner or anything. And I don't even think the CRM knows Jenner or anything. It's not Jenner necessarily, it's the knowledge that Jenner had that CRM may not have. So that might be something that makes Rick more important to the CRM. But I don't think at the start that's what keeps Rick important to the CRM. I think at the start it's something else that makes Rick important. And then as the time goes, the Jenner stuff might come into play. Alright, we'll go for another 5 minutes here. So, rapid fire Q&A here. Put your quick questions down. I'll do my best to answer them in the next 5 minutes. And then that'll be the end of the stream. It was a great stream. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys did it as well. And thankfully people were able to join. I was gonna start it, and if no one joined I was gonna end it, but people actually joined, so I'm glad that they did and we had the stream. Okay, doesn't look like there's any more questions, but I'll stick around for 2 minutes here. There's a question, so I'll answer that and we'll see how many more questions we'll get in the next 4 minutes or so. Epic Zombie Killer, back in season 1 when Jenner mentioned that French were the last to hold out, was the hint that they'll go to Paris at some point, or did they not have any spin-offs back then? I don't think they planned it like that. I think it just happened to conveniently work out. But I don't think they planned it. I think the reason why Daryl went to France was because of that comment. So they made it work after the fact, but I don't think they planned it from back then or anything like that. If Jenner had said nothing, I don't think Daryl would go to France. I think they'll have a different story for that. But because Jenner said that, they kind of set it up a bit more in World Beyond. And then they were able to actually make it work with Daryl going to France. But I don't think it was pre-planned or anything. Zach Dixon, Masked Ninja. Do you think we'll get a much more brutal Rick Grimes in The Ones Who Live? So brutal, he is more brutal than season 5 Rick. I do think we will see glimpses of a darker, more brutal Rick. Yes, absolutely. I did a video on this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or maybe a week ago, I don't remember, but in that video I broke down exactly why we will definitely see that side of Rick again. Zach Dixon, Masked Ninja, it would be the darkest version of Rick we will ever see. I wouldn't say the darkest version. I can't speak now. I wouldn't say the darkest version, but I would say the same level of darkness of a Rick that we saw ripping Joe's throat out back in season 4, episode 16. Was it then? I think it was. Or brutally butchering Gareth in the church. I think we will see that type of Rick again. But not more dark. I don't think we'll see a darker Rick. I think he'll be the same level of Rick. Alright, last question from Zach Dixon, Masked Ninja. I think it would be so badass if he takes out a CRM helicopter. I mean, I have seen that comment a lot, and yeah, it sounds badass, but so what? You know what I mean? Like, that by itself doesn't make Rick more badass. You know what I mean? Like, or depending on how he does it, if he just has like an RPG or something, any dude can just grab it and do it, any soldier. So it doesn't really make Rick more badass. So I see that comment a lot, and to that I say, so what? It would be a cool scene, absolutely, but I don't think that it's enough. You know what I mean? Maybe another question from Epic Zombie Killer, and then we'll end it. Me personally, I haven't been the biggest Rick fan, mainly because of season 8. It kind of hurt him for me. I disagree with you on that. I've always been a Rick fan. I know there's a lot of Daryl fans, but Rick has always been at the top for me. It's my top 5 characters at this point, and it hasn't changed for quite a long time. But my top 5 are Rick, Daryl, Carol, and then Michonne. And then after that, actually wait. Okay, so I'll change it. Rick, Daryl, Negan, Carol, and Michonne. These are my top 5 characters of The Walking Dead. And I don't think it'll change for a long time. Averages out, let's just say that. Throughout the show, it's been up and down, but it averages out to this. But Rick has always been number 1 for me. Alright, that's it for this Q&A, Dead Talk, live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for everyone who joined. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to join our communities, or join our community, not communities, community. Subscribe to join our community. There we go. Press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. And of course, if you enjoy any of the content, don't forget to smash that like button. It's important. It's important for the growth of the channel. I keep saying that, but it's really important. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one. I don't know when the next one's gonna be, but whenever it is, I hope to see you in the next one.